If your dog sleeps in your bed, they're not just doing it because it's comfortable. In fact, your dog might be revealing something about how they see you, and most owners completely miss it. At first, it seems simple. Dog sleeps in bed. Dog likes bed. End of story, right? But when you actually look at how dogs behave, you start to realize something interesting. Dogs rarely do things randomly. Most of their behaviors have a purpose behind them. And choosing to sleep next to you, or on top of you, or pressed against your legs, or even with their head on your pillow, is actually a form of communication. Your dog is telling you something about how they feel, what they need, and what your relationship looks like from their perspective. And the strange part is this: the position your dog sleeps in can reveal even more. Some dogs sleep right against you. Some sleep at your feet. Some position themselves between you and the door, and each one can mean something different. So today we're going to break down what it actually means when your dog sleeps with you, what their sleeping position might be telling you, when it's a great sign, and when it might be something you should pay attention to. Because the truth is a lot more interesting than most people think. Here's something that confuses a lot of dog owners. You let your dog sleep in your bed. They seem happy. You seem happy. And then someone, a friend, someone online, a random comment tells you that you shouldn't do it, that it's bad for the dog, that it causes behavioral problems, that it ruins the pack hierarchy. And suddenly you're second guessing something that felt completely natural. But sometimes the opposite happens. Maybe your dog used to sleep in their own bed, and then one day they suddenly jumped onto your bed and refused to leave. Now you're wondering, did something change? Are they just being stubborn? Or are they actually trying to tell me something? Both situations are more common than people realize, and both of them deserve a real answer, not just it's fine or it's bad, because the truth sits somewhere in the middle. And once you understand where this behavior comes from, your dog's decision to sleep next to you starts to make a lot more sense. The first thing your dog might be telling you: I trust you completely. Trust is a huge deal for dogs. It's not something they give to everyone. Sleep is the most vulnerable state an animal can be in. When a dog is asleep, they can't react quickly, they can't defend themselves, and they can't watch for danger. So animals naturally sleep in places where they feel completely safe. In the wild, dogs and wolves sleep in groups, not just for warmth, but because being surrounded by trusted companions increases safety. So when your dog chooses to sleep next to you, they're doing something very similar. They're saying you belong to their circle of trust. You're someone they feel safe enough to be vulnerable around. And that's actually a big deal. A dog that doesn't trust someone usually keeps distance when it sleeps. The fact that your dog chooses your bed out of every place in the house says a lot about how they see you. The second thing your dog might be saying: I want to be close to you. There's a big difference between daytime closeness and nighttime closeness. During the day, dogs follow people for all kinds of reasons: food, walks, attention, routine. But at night, none of that is happening. There's no food coming, no walk, no reward. So when your dog chooses to sleep next to you at night, it's a much purer form of connection. They're not expecting anything. They just want to be near you. You might even notice that in homes with multiple people, dogs often pick one specific person to sleep next to. That's not random. Dogs form strong attachment bonds, and sleeping near someone is one of the clearest ways they express that bond. But here's where things get a little more interesting, because sometimes sleeping next to you isn't just about affection. Sometimes it's about something deeper. The third thing your dog might be telling you: you make me feel calmer. For some dogs, sleeping close to their owner helps reduce anxiety. Your presence is reassuring. Your breathing, your smell, your movement, all of that signals safety to a dog, and being near you can help them relax. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. A dog that feels comfort around their owner is completely normal, but there is a difference between comfort and dependence. If your dog simply prefers sleeping near you, but can also sleep in their own bed without stress, that's usually perfectly healthy. But if your dog becomes extremely distressed when separated at night, or refuses to sleep at all without physical contact, that could indicate some level of anxiety. The behavior itself isn't the problem, it's the reason behind it. Same behavior, very different meaning depending on the dog. But here's something a lot of people overlook. Not every reason has to be emotional. Sometimes the answer is actually much simpler. The fourth thing your dog might be saying, you're warm. Dogs love warmth, especially small dogs, short-haired breeds, or dogs that naturally get cold easily. Your bed is soft, your body produces heat, and to a dog, that combination is basically the perfect sleeping spot. Sometimes the explanation really is that simple. You're a comfortable, warm sleeping surface, and they're taking advantage of it. The fifth thing your dog might be telling you, this is just our routine. Dogs thrive on routine. Once something becomes part of their daily pattern, they expect it to stay that way. If your dog has slept in your bed for a long time, it may simply feel like part of their nightly schedule. They don't question it. They just know that when it's time to sleep, they go to the same place they always go. That's one reason it can be surprisingly difficult to change sleeping habits later. It's not stubbornness, it's just a broken routine. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because where your dog sleeps in the bed can actually reveal even more. If your dog sleeps pressed right up against you, leaning into your side or curled against you, that's usually a sign of strong attachment and comfort. They want physical contact. They want to feel you next to them. If your dog sleeps at your feet, that's often a sign of a calm, secure dog. They want to stay close, but they don't need constant contact. It's relaxed closeness. If your dog sleeps between you and the edge of the bed, or positions themselves where they can see the room, that can sometimes be a protective instinct. They're keeping themselves in a position where they can monitor what's happening while still staying near their person. And if your dog sleeps with their back towards you, or even with their butt facing you, which many dogs do, it actually shows trust. In the animal world, turning your back on someone means you don't see them as a threat. So a dog that sleeps facing away from you is basically saying, I trust you enough not to watch you. And if your dog somehow manages to take half the bed while you're hanging off the edge, well, that just means someone got very comfortable very quickly. Now, let's talk about the question a lot of people ask. Is it actually okay to let your dog sleep in your bed? The internet gives a lot of extreme answers to this. Some people say it's terrible. Others say it's the best thing you can do. But the real answer is simpler. It depends on the dog. Studies have actually looked at this, and interestingly, many people report sleeping better with a dog in the bed. Dogs can provide a sense of security and comfort that helps people relax. And for well-adjusted dogs, sleeping with their owner is usually completely harmless. The key thing to watch for isn't the behavior itself, it's whether the dog can also sleep independently when needed. A confident dog can sleep with you, but can also sleep in their own bed without stress. A dog that becomes extremely distressed without that proximity might need help building independence. There's also one more thing worth mentioning. Sometimes a sudden change in sleeping behavior can signal something physical. Dogs that are feeling pain or discomfort sometimes seek extra closeness with their owner. If an older dog suddenly starts sleeping in your bed when they never used to, or becomes unusually clingy at night, it might be worth paying attention. Changes in behavior can sometimes be the first sign that something isn't quite right. Dogs can't tell us when something hurts, they can only show us, and seeking closeness is one of the ways they do that. So what does it actually mean if your dog sleeps with you? Most of the time, it means something simple and positive. They trust you. They feel safe with you. They like being close to you. And every night out of every place they could sleep in the house, they choose your bed. They choose to be near you. And they make that choice again every single night. That's actually a pretty special thing.